With Bazaar releasing in 4 days as of this recording on October 30th, this is our last chance to glean any new information to get any little bit of a head start on everyone else before the game goes live.
You should know, I'm a bit of a legend on Pelago.
Vanessa hails from the ocean world of Pelago.
Beautiful.
Once a paradise for free-sailing corsairs.
Pelago's a world as well.
Now crushed under a tyrant's iron fist.
We have a new store where you can buy many things, including our limited time launch collection. Get your launch date on a shirt. We have both American times and European times because only some of us know how to write time correctly. I'm a bit of a legend on Pelago t-shirts, as well as our entire One More Run collection. Go check it out. Links down below. Okay.
Rally men, blades to the wind.
Davy Jones vibes. Ooh.
She and her crew have escaped to the bazaar as fugitive
I love the
freedom
monkey crew.
fighters, seeking to gather strength to liberate their home. And with a cause that noble, Vanessa's not above a little skullduggery. Maybe some looting and pillaging to get what she came here for.
Okay, so we get some
I'm here
gameplay.
to sink ships and drink grog.
It is
And I'm
absolute
all
cinema.
out of grog.
That's a fantastic voice line. Hey, free ranked.
To us now.
We'll be going through this after.
I paint my ship red, but I don't
So he's one of the people who have taken over Pelago. That's cool. Professor Wriggle, Slumberlana, Nautica.
Ooh, the keener the blade, the quicker the fight.
Figureheads.
Greetings,
Was one of my
Vanessa.
favourite items the first time we got
You're
to test the
a
game.
long way from Pelago.
Well, maybe
Go
not.
ahead,
Favourite's a bit
underestimate me.
high.
It makes this more fun.
So these must be bounty hunters that we've annoyed on the bazaar.
Fighting ya.
Spineless jellyfish.
Bang.
If it's not us, it'll be the next. Only
There's
a
our wanted
matter of
poster.
time.
Next
You win a
time
fight
we
against
meet,
player gain 1
we
XP. If
probably
you had a
won't
wanted
end so
poster on your
nicely.
board, gain double the XP. Huh? Oh, I know what
All
that
this
is.
is just
I'll
training.
get into that.
Our real fight is on Pelago.
Bounty hunters were a menace a while ago. Oh, what a
Vanessa
skin!
is pure
I love
aggression.
this Vanessa skin.
An angry young woman
I just
on a
love
mission,
the
ready to
sass of
kill
sitting on the front of a
anyone
cannon.
who stands in her way.
So many skins.
Cannonball!
Her rage will
Not
be her
quite a
strength
cannonball, but
if
I'll forgive you, Vanessa.
She can temper it with wisdom.
And the dam effect that we've seen so many times. Perfect
Pelago
victory.
was a world of freedom. We forged our own destinies on open seas. Then the Tyrant King came to establish order. His order.
Okay,
My
Pirate
father
King
was
baddie.
the first captain to resist. And he paid the price for it.
Ooh,
I came here to gather my strength, but
Vanessa
I
Law.
will return home. For vengeance.
Very cool. All right. That is very cool. Great work, Bazaar team, as always. And here we are. So, has anything else changed? I mean, we've got tickets in the top corner. That's not new from the most recent time we saw it, but he's got a Jules item. It's canon. So we've got normal free play on the right with this chest thing, and then ranked win prizes on the other side. We only have 3 heroes. No more, like, invisible heroes over here. We have whatever this symbol is, which has got to be some sort of, like... no. See, what I'm missing here is I don't see any sort of, like, library to look at all the items and stuff, which we've been asking for a while, and we saw in previous versions. And I don't see a store, a way to go and buy shit. So that means this has to do either both or one of those. And I would lean towards there being a store and there not being any way to, like, look at items. The thing on the right is a select your loadout. It did used to be. Amir the Fish. Welcome, welcome. It did used to be. So you used to hover this and you'd get... you'd get like some lore about the characters and you'd pick like what toys they have and what boards they have and stuff like that. There is the plus sign as well, but I assume that's just to buy more currency. But yeah, the store could be the one on the top right. You might just click on that. It could also be that in this version, they don't have a store button. It could very well be. Yeah, I can easily see them having just another button underneath it if they need for something else. All right, straight into fighting the little pirate lackey dude. So we've got a big-ass cannon, an anchor, a powder flask, and a grenade. They've got like a bar of silver with a bronze border. Kind of sus. Oh, it says free for ranked. Yeah. We spotted that in the live watch along. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Nagro. I wanted to talk about this. Free ranked. Does this mean we get one free ranked game per day? One free ranked game per season? One free ranked game every other regular game? Like, what is the cadence of this free ticket? Or is this the thing they were talking about where you were able to earn ranked tickets outside of ranked play? You know? I feel like it's one a day, as Pickle says. Then they should have said there would be one free ticket per day. Oh, you think they have said here? They've said a lot of things. And it does keep changing. But if they've said one a day, then it's one a day then. Fantastic. You can't save up your free tickets because you always redeem them first. That makes sense. So yeah, one a day. One free ranked game per day. And supposedly, they've also said in the past that we'll be able to go infinite if we're good enough. So you've got to imagine from your free tickets, plus being able to go infinite, if you're even remotely decent, or have an even remotely decent run, you should be able to go pretty infinite in ranked. I've seen a lot of people having issues with the fact that you have to pay for ranked. Well, you don't have to pay for ranked unless you want to play it a lot and you're very bad. So, and then maybe stick to normal until you are a bit more comfortable. Because I don't believe that there is a matchmaking rating system. Reynad has said quite a few times that he actually finds it to be better for the game in the long run if it has no matchmaking rating for matchmaking people. So me as an apprentice merchant, as Steve also is, when I click next and I go to my next hour for my PvP fight, I could be matched up against the master merchant or the grand master merchant that is Reynad, and he'll kick my ass. But so long as you are remotely decent, you should, on somewhat of an average, come up against players that are weaker than you. So you should be able to get some free wins there. Crip has also said, when you lose, you go to the Fates. The Fates are pretty strong. So after you've been to the Fates, you're just much stronger than other opponents. So you've got a couple of free wins in there at least per run. So you should be able to get to a chest. And then you should be able to, if not go infinite, at least get some more gameplay out of your daily rank ticket. You might just be unlucky and get slapped even if you are an infinite player with one ticket. You absolutely could. And if you do get slapped and if you are unlucky with the matchmaker, I guess you've got to come back tomorrow. Or play some normal games. Play some meme games, you know. Queue normal and just play full health build. I'm trying to think of things that Crip and other people have said actually exist. Some meme builds that people exist. This crow's nest item is very funny. I'm a big fan. Got a nice crit there. I think this item's new for it. I don't remember this guy having this item. Just use your gems. I mean, yeah, this person had like 50 bajillion gems, so. yeah, players will have gems saved up for sure. But then you'll have to like balance, like, do I spend my gems on the rank ticket because I was unlucky, or do I spend my gems on skins, assuming you can buy them for skins? I definitely play normal until I understand the game more. Going infinite in cost on entry games is greatest reward once you know you can achieve it. Absolutely. I mean, they're giving you a free rank ticket, right? So why not just, especially day one, when no one knows what they're doing, I would highly recommend everyone just have a couple of normal games, get situated, and then just throw in that rank ticket. Just have a go. Have a stab. See how it goes. If you lose horribly, oh well, you probably weren't going to play ranked today anyway, because you have no idea what you're doing. I will also say, for those of you worried about people that have had a chance to play before you, I was involved in the last couple of tests, and going test the test, there were so many balance changes that day one of the more recent test, when the likes of some of the other chatters were playing, I had such a abysmal win rate. I could not for the life of me win a run because I was just out of date, right? I was still trying to build the old good shit, but there was new good shit. And the new players just happened to find it because it worked, right? You take the path of least resistance. When the thing works, you play with it. Whereas in my brain, I was like, aha, this item. I know this item's good. I like building with this item. It's fun. And then I lost like 50 games in a row. So yeah, day one, those of us who have played in friends and family and other tests, we might actually take a while to come online. So don't be too worried. Yeah, and honestly, if you have any experience in strategy games and stuff, like if you've played other auto battlers, especially if you've played super auto pets or you've played backpack battles, you do have a general idea and vibe of how to come into this. One thing I love about the Bazaar is how sort of strategically transferable its skills are, right? Like, you don't have to be a god gamer, like, massive actions per minute APM. Like, you don't have to be any of that. You can be a boomer, as Womble says. And if you have a generally strategic brain, if you're good at board games, right? If you're good at other card games, you will generally start to pick up very quickly on what's supposed to work here. Again, as Womble says, if you've played Fantasy Realms and Marvel Remix, they are also incredibly good for this. They're very, very similar in places. So yeah, there are definitely a lot of pathways into this, more so than other strategy games, right? I am a massive board game nerd. I also play a good chunk of card games. I have tried for the life of me for the last like 3-4 years to get into Magic the Gathering. I just can't. I'm too far behind. There are too many things going on. There's just... I mean, I can get into it, it's just not as enjoyable. But the Bazaar, very easy to get into. Because you don't need to know too many specific things. They did a massive video on this a while ago, talking about design space. They have specifically made the Bazaar, so you need to know very few things coming into it, but there is still a lot of variety once you do get there. Highly recommend that video, really good watch. Or my video covering that video, because that's what we do here. Also, thanks for the follows, everyone. Super appreciate it. Yeah, so we see some merchants here. Actually, interesting. This is something that Crip spoke about, so I'm allowed to speak about here. That's basically how we're going with these things at the moment. Crip said that every hour, when you come into a thing, when you come into your encounters, on the far right-hand side, as my auto is not giving me 1080p. Let me just give that a second to generate. When you come into the right-hand side, you get a free thing, right? It is just one random free item or whatever. It'll say, get one burn item, and you'll click it and you'll get a burn item. Just a completely random one. It could be from your hero, it could be from other heroes, it could be a neutral item, just anything, right? And sometimes you can really high roll those and they're really fun. And because they're free, they don't cost you money, so they're always a nice bet. In the middle, you get some sort of event. That's either a skill merchant or it's, going to an eating contest or maybe sometimes it's a PvE fight. There's a lot of different things you can get. Basically infinite things in the middle, is the event space. And on the left-hand side, you've got your merchant, which is your classic, go to them, they offer you 3 items to buy, you've got to refresh, blah, 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 But right here, in the most recent example of the Bazaar we have seen, you have your merchant as per usual, your event as per usual, and then no free thing. We just have another event. So either they've changed it, and this is a new build, or this is an old recording, because they're putting together some like Vanessa highlight thing. But who the fuck knows? So we had a poison merchant, or a poison skill merchant, a slow skill merchant, and then an aquatic item merchant. They go with figurehead. In the live watch along, I said this is one of my favorite items a while ago. It wasn't necessarily. I just really liked how it was just a support item for a build I liked. I mentioned this earlier. There aren't really builds so much as there are like synergies. And sometimes there are keystone items in those builds, right? So there was a keystone item I liked playing around. And figurehead was a nice support item for it. So when I see figurehead, my brain sends good signals, even though I don't think it's very strong. So figurehead is a medium aquatic item at the silver tier. Aquatic items to the left of this have their cooldown reduced by 0%. I assume that's a typo. It shouldn't be 0. Unless at silver it's 0, and then at gold it becomes like 50, and then diamond it's 100 or something. It wouldn't be 100, but you get the idea. But I just assume that's a typo. Someone said it was 10%, but bugged. Fantastic. It should say 10%. So if it's a 40-second cooldown item, it's now a 36-second cooldown item. And then weapons to the right of this have plus 25 damage. That was the bit I used to like. It's a big item for plus 25 damage. I can see places where this would work, right? If you do have a very long cooldown item and then some weapons, absolutely. 10% knocked off that cooldown and a bunch of weapons, plus 25 damage. Sounds fantastic. But it's a medium item slot. So it's eating up a lot of your board. Vanessa especially, because she has such a lot of like really strong small weapons, or small items in general. Those of you who will remember the old the old Vanessa small weapons builds, they still kind of exist in a way. And figurehead just eats up a lot of space that you could be using elsewhere. But maybe it's stronger now. I have no idea. They show us nice and shiny. It's got a little bit of animation to it. The birds are flying in the background. Come to the bounty hunter here. Ooh, they've revamped this. You're going to tell when I see something actually new, because I'm going to go, ooh, I'm going to make happy noises. So the bounty hunter is a PvE encounter that you will eventually fight as Vanessa. They are bounty hunters coming for you. You can see they've got the little Vanessa wanted poster there. Some big scary dude in the background. But yeah, they will give you, when you win, the ooh I made was that they've revamped what the rewards look like. So the gold is now this pretty little thing. You get 7 gold for winning. You get 4 XP, and this now looks nice. And you get 1, and then this is an improvement I really like. You get 1 either what one of these are, or what one of these are. And they are very simply either a card, which is that shape, or a skill, which is this shape. Previously, you wouldn't know from looking at it that you could possibly get the skill, but you absolutely can. And that is now shown very nicely. I say you absolutely can. They could still change that between now and then. But I don't see what they would. So yeah, really, really nice change to the UI there. One other thing I noticed as that popped up, something that people have been asking about, are toys. Toys on the Bazaar boards for the longest time were one of the ways that Reynad was going to monetize, because he's a Hearthstone player, right? You spend most of your time sat there just clicking, waiting for them to take their turn. You're like, come on, do the thing, do your thing. So they were going to have toys in the corners, right? They're now gone. Now you've got the chest and you've got your little like space for gold or whatever. The boards are now interactive instead. So instead of buying multiple toys and a board, you're just buying boards. So they've flattened that sort of cosmetic choice, which I quite like. People are already calling the game greedy because you have to pay for rank tickets. I can't imagine what they'd say if you had to pay for a board and a toy. So I'm glad they flattened that and you just have boards now. They can also create these like very cohesive themes and blah, 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 which are great. Also, I will say, you don't spend any time just clicking on the board waiting for stuff in the Bazaar. Unless you're doing like a max health v max health build, then maybe you will. But because it's async, you can just walk away anyway, right? You can go to the loo, come back. It finished like 5 minutes ago, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, the cosmetic boards fill in that slot. And now you have the stash where you can store things, which I hope they do cosmetics for in the future. I assume they will. But also apparently the gold pile is going to be cosmetic, which is interesting. I assume that's just going to act as like a little trophy spot. You know what would be really cool? If they did like sponsor an actual like big tournament and they could get an actual trophy down there. That would be very, very cool. Anyway, I digress. I also saw Luigi asking what the 9 is. The 9 is, I believe, let me check. Perfect, yeah. Piccolo said it, so I'm allowed to say it. The 9 is the level of the encounter. So we are level 7. The encounter is level 9. It is a pretty scary level to hit the bounty hunter. Just general vibes from the tests. Bounty hunter, the first time I played, bounty hunter was a menace. Bounty hunter would destroy you. And I think it was also non-optional, if I remember rightly. But that was a while ago now. Bounty hunter now, or bounty hunter the last time I played against them, wasn't very strong. I think they nerfed it a little bit too hard. That happened with a couple of encounters. And it didn't happen at all with others. There are still some extremely strong PvE encounters out there. I will warn you now. I'll tell you about them at launch, but I'll warn you now. Yeah, Bounty Hunter's now a lot easier to play against. I assume they'll buff him again. And now he's not. He's optional. You can go anywhere else if you want. What's the difference on the cannon's numbers, 275 and 20? Let me do the thing. Just because I want to play with the thing.
What's the difference on the cannon's numbers? 275, 20.
So yeah, the 275 is raw damage. So any number you see in red, like this, I think red, correct me in chat if I'm saying the wrong colors because I'm colorblind, lol. The 275 is just raw damage. So when that triggers, you'll go from 2150 down by 275 to 19, whatever that is, or 18 or maths. The orangey number is burning. So that will apply 20 stacks of burning to the enemy. That will deal 20 damage. And then the server will tick. So the tick is every half a second. So it ticks twice per second. So, you know, your 0 seconds, say this fired at 0 seconds. It wouldn't. Let's say it fires at 4 seconds. Let's say it's a 4-second item. 4 seconds, bang, cannon fires. They take 275 damage from the red. And then the 20 burning stacks apply to them. Then at 4.5 seconds, they'll do 20 damage because they have 20 burning. At 5 seconds, so another half a second long, when the burning ticks, it goes down by 1. So they'll now have 19 burn stacks, and they'll take 19 more damage. And then another server tick, they'll go to 18, and then they'll take 18 points of damage. Hey Foing, welcome. Hello all of the Foing raiders as well. I hope you had a good watch party. I didn't ask you how to say your name, and you said just go with whatever, but apparently I'm landing on Foing. Foing just sounds fun, right? It's like boing. Boing just is a good word. I like the word boing. Thank you for doing the shout-out, Womble. I didn't see the shout-out thing pop up. Where is my shout-out? I'll do it as well, just in case. S-O... Foing? There we go. I've got my own built-in shout-out. There we go. Welcome all the Fong people? All the Foing people. We are crawling through the rest of this video now, finding all of the little bits and pieces that we can. Thong people, yes. Did the Twitch ones that you didn't know your command? There you go. It's SO. But yeah, that's burning. I was just explaining burning and regular damage to folks. There is also a greeny type number you might see. That is poison. Poison is very much like burning. When you apply it, like creates a stack number and it deals that much damage per server tick. The thing with poison though is it never ticks down. It just always stays at its number. But poison is usually a lot harder to apply. Poison also goes underneath shields. So if you have shielding, poison will just tick underneath. So if we had 2,150 health and 5,000 shielding, a poison stack of 2,150 would instantly kill us. And burning now apparently does half damage to shields as well. So shields very good against tick damage. That's something we've learned recently. How do you know my content on the other platforms? Come on. We're researchers here. we're dirt diggers. That's what we've been for a long time. I mean, I'm a professional dirt digger. Quite literally. I have 2 degrees to say so. You may also see a color that I think is like a purpley color, although purple is literally a color I cannot see. But apparently Crypt calls it purple, so it's purple. It looks like this red color, but a bit like different. And that is regular damage with lifesteal. So if this was this purpley color, you would deal 275 damage and you would heal 275 damage. Those are the 4 different types of damage we have. Dark red, I would say. Yeah. There's also healing and shielding, which we'll get to. So we then jump into a fight with the old bounty hunters. Their skill, right at the beginning of the game, or at the beginning of the match rather, just does a nice percentage damage of your health. Just watch it fire. Bang. 322 damage straight up. That skill's quite nice, you know. And it's percent damage as well, so if you go up against a Pygmalion with like 50,000 health, I'm looking at you, Cap, wherever you are, it will do a massive chunk of damage. Wine-coloured. It is wine-coloured. I would say it's wine-coloured. If you had lifesteal. Here are some of Vanessa's lovely small items, the revolvers. Whatever, this item is triggering lots. This item is fantastic. That's the flashbang. So you saw there that flashbang. When it triggers, it only has 1 ammo. So, you know, it's not going to trigger all the time. But when it does trigger, it fires a projectile that lands on every single enemy item. And you see how they all have this 3 at the bottom? Crib explained this, so I can explain this too. If there is a number at the bottom, and this like effect on the bar, that means you are being slowed. If you are slowed, your item charges half as quickly. So if our cannon, which was a 4-second cooldown, is slowed, it's now going to take 8 seconds to charge that thing. If our anchor is a 20-second cooldown item, that's now a 40-second cooldown item. Right, slow can get very, very nasty. But the number at the bottom tells you how long the slow is left applied, right? So this flashbang only applies 3 seconds of slow. Only. Applies 3 seconds of slow to every enemy item. So even if this would go from 20 to 40, it would go... Say you're at 10 seconds charge, you'd then still have 20 seconds left because it would get slowed, and it would charge from 20 to 19 to 18 to 17, and then it would go back down to a 20-second cooldown, and you'd have like 8 point something seconds left. It would have basically made it charge half as quickly for that period of time. But if you get permanent slow on something, it just does double the cooldown of it. If you see a number at the top, and the bar is also making a funny little glowy color, that's haste. And that's the opposite. That is, your items are charging twice as fast. And that's usually something you apply to yourself. I don't think I've seen a single item that applies it to the enemy, which would be a good thing. Maybe I have. Either way. Haste is the number at the top, slow is number at the bottom. And flashbang applies slow to all enemy items, which is very strong. It is one of those very good support items in a lot of builds. Is the max stack of skills 6, looking on the left and right of Vanessa. So apparently this has also been said, so I'm allowed to say it. You start off with 6 spaces, but when you fill your last space, you get more, right? So this is just a visual thing, so that the skills aren't tiny, 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 tiny day one. But once you fill these 6, the slots will double, and you'll get 6 more empty slots underneath. And then when you fill all those, you get even more slots. So at the moment, the last we knew, you could get infinite skills. But one of the bits of feedback, and one of the things we heard back from the Tempo team, is that maybe infinite skills isn't the direction the game should go in. So we'll see. They might have changed that. But at the very least, it'll be more than 6, I would imagine. But yeah, it's just a visual thing to make them nice and big at the beginning. I actually really like how that works. Very, very nice. Hi Artificer, will we still be able to analyze our fights with a replay feature and other data provided? I remember that was part of the build ages ago. In the build that I've played, I haven't had a replay function, but they have definitely spoken about it. I hope this fucking can't wait. I mean, me too. Hell yeah. But yes, in fact, I'll put this up while I'm chatting in case there are any watchers rather than listeners.
Hi RTFCR, will we still be able to analyze our fights with a replay feature and other data provided? I remember that was part of a build years ago.
Yeah, so, I didn't see that function, but I imagine it wouldn't be crazy difficult for them to put in. At least some sort of fight recap. I know we saw that a while ago. So they definitely have the tech. I say they definitely have the tech. They have rebuilt their tech from the ground up quite a few times. The most recent time being all of the calculations were done. Don't take me word for word on this. It's not my place. I am a social media guy through and through. My day job is social media. I'm not some big programmer or whatever. But they had to rebuild everything because they were doing a lot of the processes and calculations or whatever, I believe, on the user side, and it's now all server side, so it's a lot more secure and safe and all that shit. But that means they literally had to rebuild all of their tech. Things just wouldn't work the way they used to, so they had to rebuild it. So there are a bunch of things in the most recent test that are missing from the test before that, because the test before that, they had the tech. They've been rebuilding everything. So, all that to be said, it might just be that they haven't rebuilt it yet. It might be that they don't see a reason to build that in this current version because of how much work it will go into it and blah, 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 blah. I hope we get it at least by launch, if not in closed beta test. The skills were just too easy and impactful. I don't think they'll remove the cap. Yeah, they could just nerf the skills. That would also work. An average 10-win run would have 10 to 15 skills. Yeah, I'd normally see about that much. And a plethora of diamond skills by the end of it. You'll also notice that there's some haste, by the way, on the anchor. 0.9 seconds of haste. I should say that passive items, so like figurehead, like Vanessa's wanted poster here, slow and haste don't apply to them. Slow, haste, and freeze, even, don't apply to them. So when this slows all enemy items, say you had something else that was like, when you slow an enemy item, do something cool, it would only count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It wouldn't count that as 7 because it's not applying slow to it. That can also work inversely against you. Say you have 3 massive items on your board and one of them is passive. If the enemy is applying slows to you regularly, those 2 items you have are going to be perma-slowed. So slow and freeze are very strong against large builds in the previous time we played. Again, that's something they may or may not be changing. So what do we see here? So there's the burn damage, by the way, that was ticking down. I only said it did 22 damage. I assume that's because they only had 22 health left. There you go. See, it did 20. Oh, no. It ticked for 22 damage because it was at 22 burning, and then they added 20 more burning. So it went 22 burning, down to 21 burning because it did 22 damage, and then they applied 20 more and it went up to 41. That's actually a really good example of how burning works. It constantly ticks down, dealing damage, and then you can stack it back up again. Obviously, the bigger the stack, the more damage you're getting, and it's additive each time it goes down, so yeah, it's just a lot of damage if you can get a good amount of burning stacks going. And that was Vanessa using ammo items, by the way. You can see along the bottom, a lot of her items have these notches. We've had that for a very long time in the Bazaar. That is, it will only trigger that number of times, and when it runs out of those, it just stops triggering, just stops charging it altogether. So the revolver has like 1 million. Grenade doesn't have 1 million. Grenade only has 2. You would have seen this item regaining some as they played last time. And then we get the wanted poster. They've highlighted 2 items in this video that I personally didn't believe were very strong in the previous test. But this highlights something that has changed since the last time I played it. So I'm very good, very interesting to see it. So wanted poster is a medium Vanessa item, and at the silver tier, which might be its base tier, there were base tiers of items, like not all items have bronze all the way through to diamond. But its bronze tier could be 5% crit damage. At its silver tier, when you win a fight against a player, gain 1 XP. If you had wanted poster on your board, double the XP. your items have 10% crit chance. What this means, so if this is on your board, your items have 10% crit chance, and if you win a fight, you get 2 XP. Fantastic. Not really, I didn't use it once in the previous test. And that is what I did in the previous test. I believe. Yeah, I did something similar. I'm forgetful. I'm very fortunately forgetful. It means I can't leak anything. But now, the way I'm reading this, and I don't know this for sure because this is fucking new. If this is in your stash, not even on your board, if this is in your stash, you get 1 XP when you win. So it's like a permanent XP buff so long as you have space in your stash, which is fantastic. I absolutely love that change, and it's going to make so many other things much better. Text-to-speech, hello. It's like every other one is very delayed. Also, I think that's going off the edge of the screen, so I need to fix that. It's just not text-to-speeching this time. Okay. So, Thrudvang said, if you don't have space and choose an item, does it go directly to your chest? As far as I know, yes. And if you don't have space, yeah, I think it kind of breaks. I think you have to sell something to add it. And there we see our wanted poster. I love the animation in this little, like, fire lamp thing. Oh, there you go. It went straight to the chest. We got our XP. We leveled up. How did we level up? Did we get 4 XP for that? No. Did it count itself? Oh, we were only 1 XP away. Okay. So we needed 1 XP, and we end up at 4. Does it show what it was at the beginning? Because I'm interested as to whether or not wanted poster immediately gives you the benefit. This is the kind of shit that we can do now. So, Bounty Hunter gives you 4 XP. We were at 1 XP away from level 8. So we should be level 8 with 3 XP. I think it's going to visual bug, and it's going to still say we're level 7. But that's not what we're after here. We're level 7. Well, we're level 8 now, but with 4 XP. Which means, because Wanted Poster joined our board before the XP was granted. So I guess the takeaway here is XP is granted after you're done taking things from the enemy. Right? So we got 1 extra XP because it went into our stash. If we had, here's the big brain thing, maybe, if we'd moved Anchor into our stash and then added Wanted Poster, would we have gained 2 extra XP? Wanted Poster was only on players, not PvE now. I don't remember. Like I say, I never picked it. When you win a fight against a player, there you go. So it should be against a player. So ignore everything I just said. I don't know why we have more XP than we should. Game is still pre-beta at this point. I will remind everyone. Not 12. Will Reynad shave his beard once the game comes out? I have no idea. I shaved mine though. I hope it comes back at least a little bit. I don't like being completely clean shaven. Passage of a day also gives you one. There you go. Foying nails it. Passage of a day gives you one. Yeah. Like every hour tick, I believe. Although we could have changed that. One more when you go next hour. Yeah, you go next hour. The extra one passage from there. Yeah. So this is why I should read chat. This is why I should read what you guys are saying. You guys are smart. I love the skin. I want this one. I'm very glad I backed the Bazaar a long time ago, and I'm going to get double my money as gems or whatever it was. I want this one. I just love that vibe. She is sat on a massive cannon. She's just got a sword. She doesn't have the igniter. She's not going to shoot you with it. She's just showing off. I love that one the most as well. The posture is so cool. It is. This skin is also very cool though. This has got much more like barbarian vibes. And then this one as well is very, very good. I've used that one in a lot of thumbnails because I have a nice big version of it. Oh yes, it's a dually getting flattened. I never knew. They still have, this is still desynced. I dislike this. I pointed this out the first time we saw Boulder. So if I keep going back. So Dooley is at, come on, show me the health. God, how long back is it? When does he take the damage? Do we even see Dooley at health? We don't, okay. So before the clip even starts, Dooley takes a ridiculous amount of damage. It's tons and tons of damage. But then the animation plays like half an hour later. Dooley's already dead. And then the animation plays. Well, I do like the victory comes up out of the boulder lands. That's quite satisfying. But what I would love nothing more, as someone who does a lot of editing, transitions are important. And the boulder's perfectly obscuring Dooley's health bar here. So if his health bar ticked from full to 0 underneath the boulder, chef's kiss. Absolute cinema. But no. There are some very cool items in this Dooley build. There's the what's it called now? The armored or combat armor. It's called combat armor now. Surprise, it wasn't called that before. Many things have changed. But yeah, very, very good Dooley item. This is Miss Isles. Also a Dooley item that we've known about for a long time. But she's very, very fun. I enjoy her. And then a bunch of other little guys. You can see here, for those of you asking about skills, there are 10 here. So there's 2 more slots, and then it would open up another bar. Maybe you can sell the core if you have combat armor. We'll see now, because our chest is currently obscured. Ah, interesting. I don't know if you can ever see what's in your opponent's stash. I don't know if that's a thing. But yeah, their stash is empty, and Dooley has no core. Okay. Combat is also a core based on the screenshot that someone shared. So it is. But it doesn't fit the normal sort of restraints that a core has to fit into. I am surprised to see this and not see a core. Something may have changed. Maybe this is now a core that you can get day 1. Maybe now you can enchant the core and upgrade it into a combat armor. I don't know. Or maybe it's just bugged and we can't see what's in the chest. Either way, something fishy going on there. Is it possible to transform items or something? Kind of. You can enchant items and upgrade items. So there's 2 different systems. Upgrading items is very simple. If you get 2 bronze, well, actually, let me say, if you get 2 gold dams, because there's a dam in front of us, it'll turn into a diamond dam, which is right there, right? So that's one thing. Usually it just gets stronger at doing its thing. So like a gold dam would probably just charge this 1 second, right? Holy, I've just read this ability. That is not what this used to do. I'm going to dive into that in a second. The other way that you can transform items is enchanting. One way you can get to enchanting is by dying and going to see the fates. So if you die, you get 1 more chance and the fates will come see you. But you can also enchant in other ways, because we've seen people with enchanted items above 0 health. Point being, enchanting lets you add like a prefix word to a thing. So you could add like burning dam to dam, right? And then when dam triggers, it would also apply burning. You could add heavy dam, and when dam triggered, it would also trigger slow. So those are the 2 ways you can alter items, but transforming items isn't something we've necessarily seen. That being said, there are outliers, items that do some weird shit that I have seen, that I can't talk about. But yeah, not to the point where the core turning into the combat armor is not something I've seen before. Oh, damn, I missed this. Hell yeah. Oh, damn. So damn is a large aquatic property at the diamond tier at 25 seconds, because it certainly isn't every 25 seconds. destroy this, and 3 enemy items for the fight. When you use another aquatic item, charge this 2 seconds. That is ridiculous. Imagine doing this to a Pygmalion with 3 large items and 1 small item, and just eliminating 90% of his build. And it's only 25 seconds, and it's charge every 2 seconds on aquatic item use. So this is a 3 space item, right? So in the Bazaar, they have 3 sizes of items, small, medium, large. Small items take up 1 slot, mediums take up 2 slots, large take up 3 slots, and you have 10 slots at the end of the run. So you've got 7 items that can go alongside this potentially, which means 7 potentially aquatic items. Let's say they all charge at 8 seconds. After 8 seconds, this is getting 14 seconds of charge, and he's just going to trigger immediately and eliminate 3 enemy items. I cannot wait to use this. I just want to... There are so many items that I'm like, that's a meme build. It's also probably a real build, but that's a meme build, and I'm going to use it. How would this work with multicast, random dude? I hope to God it destroys 6 enemy items. Because to get multicast on this, you're going to have to go through hell and high water anyway, right? You probably have to enchant it, I guess, to get multicast. Or like get an item that gives the item to the left of this multicast or whatever, but I can't think of any of those off the top of my head. A multicast was a very sparingly touched thing in the Bazaar. There are items that have multicast and are designed to multicast, and then there are items that don't. That being said, enchanting wasn't in the game when I played it, so maybe there is enchantment for multicast. That would be insane. I can't wait to try that out. Does for the fight mean we keep it after? Yeah, so for the fight would mean you keep it after, I would imagine. Although I've not seen a destroy this item for the fight before. But I would imagine, yes, you get to keep it afterwards. Enchantment for multicast? Yeah, I would love enchantment for multicast. Alright, so I didn't spot this as this animation played as well, because we've seen this animation before. I mean, I've used it a couple times. Yeah, so Vanessa just straight up loses 3 items. What did she have before? I don't want to spam back frame. Oh, it deleted them straight away. Again. Ooh. This is like my one pet peeve with Bazaar polish. The Bazaar is polished so well. Just amazingly well. But there are slight little rooms for improvement. One of them is line up your goddamn animations. If you've got flashy animations, just a little extra effort, make them work. Good lord. We're not even going to get to see them break, are we? Oh no, we can just about see them. So you see she's got an item here, here, and here. You can see the damage they'd be doing. You've got like a 2-digit, a 3-digit, and a 2-digit. She just straight loses one of her 3-digit items because the dam triggers. Okay. While this is still light, let's ask the question. Does she even win? Like, is this item even good? So, we have a good chunk of damage and some good survivability, actually. And she has a bunch of items that have ran out. So I imagine we still win. Man, we have tickled her. She must have had some... One of these must have been a defensive item, surely. But yeah, these items are all out of ammo. This is about to be out of ammo. This is about to be out of ammo. She still has a revolver, but like, that's dealing 49 damage to someone with 2,300 health. Yeah, and we've got a bunch of piranha that don't have cooldowns. They don't have ammo, rather. So yeah, she is actually going to win with the dam build. Whoosh. Oh, in fact, we knew she won already. Spoiler alert, because we saw this screen. She has a bunch of cool... interesting. I don't think I ever saw this gold tier in the last Friends and Family. Anyone? I think this is new. Other than that, I recognize every single item and skill here. So there's not... They haven't just added like a million items and skills since we played. This is your end game screen. You get a nice little reminder of how many wins you got. How much health you had. what prestige you had left. So this is a, as it says, 10 wins perfect victory. It can just say 10 wins like great victory or something instead. If you don't get a perfect victory. This was maximum prestige, so she didn't lose a single game. This is level 11. That says XP. I don't know why it says XP like that. If they were going to use lettering, they should have just used the Bazaar like language lettering. But yeah, that says XP. And then this is her income and her gold, I would imagine, although I've never really paid any attention to what's left there. I just haven't before. So yeah, that is the end game screen. And then we got the cool lore bit, didn't we? Just kind of hurrying across to that. This was very cool. This is like a massively zoomed in version of the animated Wanted poster. And we got some bizarre lore in Vanessa's voice. And that is kind of that.